Today, let us take some time to study the Word of God together with the sermon titled, "An Enemy Did This." Isn't the enemy the devil? What is it that Satan did, which God pointed out and said, "An enemy did this"? Let us understand about this through the parable of the weeds in Matthew chapter 13. When we look at Matthew chapter 13, verse 24, it reads, Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. Jesus used such a parable to explain to us about the kingdom of heaven. Jesus only sowed good seed. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came, and what did he sow? He sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. Although the weeds have a similar appearance to the wheat, their characteristics are completely different. These weeds were sown in the same field with the wheat. Let's see verse 26. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from?" It is written, "A man reaps what he sows." The owner sowed good seed, so he was able to recognize right away when the weeds sprouted. God, who is the owner, knows which are the weeds and said, "An enemy did this." Who did this? "An enemy did this," he replied. The servants asked him, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling the weeds, you may root up the wheat with them. Let both grow until when? Until the harvest." God said, "Let both grow together until the harvest." This means whether good or bad, leave them for now. But at the end, on God's judgment day, God will separate them all. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, "First collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned." There is a purpose for gathering and harvesting. The owner said, "The weeds are to be tied in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn." The enemy, the devil, is very wicked and is always hindering God's administration. The devil always makes obstacles so that God's will may not be accomplished. So whenever the outcome of a situation is evil, God immediately knows who did it. He reveals that an enemy did this. God has been leading the redemption work for the salvation of all mankind in each age, from the creation of the world until today. In the process of leading the Israelites out of Egypt, God established a very important truth, which is the Passover. That's how God led the Israelites out of Egypt and allowed them to enter the land of Canaan. It was also to show us how we can enter the eternal kingdom of heaven. Therefore, considering the relationship between a shadow and its reality, God let all the prophecies of the Passover be fulfilled. Both in the law of the Old Testament and in the law of the New Covenant in the New Testament, God emphasized to us time and time again, you must keep the Passover. The Passover is truly important. However, there is no one on the earth who keeps the Passover. What has happened? What is God's answer to this? An enemy did this. Since the time of Moses, through the law of the Old Covenant and the law of the New Covenant as well, God greatly emphasized and commanded us to keep the Passover. Nevertheless, who hindered people from keeping it and even abolished the Passover through a religious council? Who did this? It was God who revealed this to us by saying, "An enemy did this." Therefore, if anyone is following a doctrine without the truth that has disappeared, who are they actually following? They are following the enemy, the devil. This is the reason why it is recorded in the Bible that the devil and the false prophets, what will happen to them? They will be tormented in the lake of burning sulfur day and night, forever and ever. Although the Passover is recorded so many times in the Bible, and even Jesus, Peter, Paul, and all the forefathers of faith kept it until the 4th century, today there is no church that even mentions the existence of the Passover. Why is it that they don't even mention anything about the truth of the Passover? It is because an enemy did this. Let us understand about this matter correctly through the Bible. By this, you and I will be able to be those who can see and clearly testify to the truth in the Bible, revealing whether the world today is following the will of God or the will of the enemy, the devil. Thank you very much. God bless you.